Jesus didn't have a problem with people that's in the streets. He had a problem with religious people.
How can I help anybody when when I was not even able to help my own son?
I would never do that. I would never do that. And I became that in a matter of minutes when they took my pain pills away.
And I said, I'm not where I want to be, but thank God I'm not what I used to be.
This is Faith in Your Recovery. I am Randy Davis. Welcome to the battle. Hey, how awesome to have you with us today. Thanks for joining us. We hope you'll go ahead and subscribe and like. We've got a lot to share. Number one, I want to explain a little bit of the difference you're going to hear today and in the next 4 or 5 weeks. September 6th. That date again, September 6th, in Jay County, Indiana, at the Jay County High School. We're going to be presenting Hope Fest. Hope Fest is going to be a day full of activities there on Highway 67, just outside of Portland. We've got some neat things planned. We've got a health fair going on, and that's part of our vendors fair, which will be from 12 noon till 3. And then from 1 to 5, probably my favorite aspect of this whole operation we're going to be sharing with you, this free event, is going to be a concert. And one of our guests at that concert just happens to be our guest here today. It's Nicky Gracious. Nicky, welcome. Glad you came.
It's an honor to be here, Randy. Thank you so much for having me, man.
Hey, we look forward to hearing your story, your testimony, that connection with Christ, where you are today and how he's working in your lives. And we'll get to that in just a couple here. But we're going to be having free food there at Hope Fest. We'll have that free health fair, the free concert. There'll be several other guests. We'll also have Redeemed, J Truth, Levi, One Cut Volrath, Clean Slate, and Mallory B. And who knows who else will show up, but many of these individuals have been on our podcast before, so you've heard their story, or go back and look them up. I'll get those numbers for you of those episodes and have it with me next time around just to help you find that. But once again, it's September 6th at Jay County High School in Jay County, Indiana, the Portland area, just northeast of Muncie, about 20 miles. Come and join us. It's going to be a fun time. Bounce houses and so much more, inflatables, archery games, and the list goes on. Don't miss it. Plenty of opportunities for the kids. This is more than family friendly. You're not going to have to worry about your kids getting kind of information you don't want them to have. We look forward to what we can give as a gift. So now, let's get back to our guest. Nicky, why is it important to you to even be here today? I know you've got a lot going on. You're a busy man, but you told us yes. Number one, thank you for that.
It's an
Number
honor.
two, why did you tell us yes?
Well, any opportunity to be able to share the message. And not just the message that affected my life, but actually the story that I went through, the story that affected me so personally. Initially, I didn't think that it affected anybody but me, but until I shared it. And then when I shared it, I realized the impact. So being here at home, I live in Indiana. I was raised partly in Indiana, so I did a lot of bad stuff here. So any opportunity to give back and to be able to share that story that people can relate to is a blessing. It's an honor to do it.
Well, thank you for making us part of that, and I know what you have to share is going to continue to help us touch, change, and even save lives. Help save them physically, spiritually. I understand we don't do the spiritual thing, but we're tools that reach out and touch them, give them that Band-Aid to help pull them through, or, we're there so they can lean on us and be a part of us, and they can come closer to Christ through what we have to share. Let's go back early on, Nicky. Where's your story begin?
So the trauma is really was primarily what I recall from my youth. And the trauma really started from the womb. My mom had her jaw wired shut, her kidney ruptured when she was 7 months pregnant with me. So I came in the world kind of just built for that trauma, I guess. And at a young age, I kind of remember watching my mom choose men that didn't want to just smack her. They wanted to beat her up like closed fists. So all of my mom's boyfriends were abusive to her. So I watched consistent domestic abuse inflicted onto my mom.
What was the age range for you? Obviously, from that time of being able to understand something's not good, something's
Sure.
not right. How many years did you watch that happen?
From about 4, and I'm sure it was happening before that, but it's just about
Sure.
as far back as my memory,
Sure.
helps. But from about 4 all the way up until about the age of 12, and at the age of 12, I'd gotten to a point to where I gave my mother an ultimatum, and I said, either you leave this man, or I'm gonna leave because I can no longer be a part of this.
So a good hard 8 years of watching this struggle and this damage being done
Yes, sir.
and the trauma being inflicted on you.
Yes, sir. And, I remember trying to help, but being too little to help. So I felt kind of helpless, being that I couldn't help my mother and watching these situations unfold. And it wouldn't be a matter of time before my sister and I were taking, trash bags full of clothes to the next battered women's shelter. And at the age of 12, I had an epiphany that really no young man should have. And it was in the midst of trying to help my mom in one of these situations. A guy had slammed our heads together, and my mother was unconscious, and he continued to hit her. And I bent a rod back and forth on a boat until that rod came off, and then I struck him in the face with the rod. And it did a lot of damage to his eye. And in that moment, what I realized was, depending on the amount of violence that I implemented into a situation would determine how much control over that situation I could get. The more violent, the more control Nick could get.
Makes sense.
And because that initial epiphany came from a situation that I thought was something that was necessary to happen, this needed to happen, it kind of reinforced it in my mind. So I carried that mindset with me for the next however many years of my life, maybe 10 more years after that, until it landed me in prison. I was shortly thereafter 12, 16 years old. I was on the run for a murder I didn't commit. By the age of 18, I was in prison, and I spent the next 21 years of my life in prison.
Was it for lack of better terms, the murder you didn't commit? Is that why you spent the 21 years?
No, sir. I ran from that charge long enough for them to apprehend the man that actually had done it.
Okay.
So, by the grace of the Father, that didn't fall on me, because it very well could have, But I went to prison for armed robbery. Those were my first charges. I did 7 years on my first bid, got out for 14 days, and committed another armed robbery. And stayed on the run for a short time and went back to prison for 10 years. And got out after doing 17. And I wanted something different, but I had no life management skills, zero. And this kind of conditioned mindset was all that had ever carried me through and gotten me any semblance of what I would consider success in the lifestyle that I was living, was gang activity, violence, selling drugs, using drugs.
That's how you survived, it sounds like.
Yes.
Good, bad, or ugly. That's what you were using him for.
Yes, sir.
I've said more than once, lies can help save our lives. They can certainly mess them up as well.
true.
But I'm not giving the idea of there being a legitimate reason, but sometimes it's the only way we can make it through to the next moment.
That is
And
accurate.
I would think the same with the violence you're talking about.
Well, it's not the only option, but it's the only option that we're taught that we may have. You know, that any other option would leave you in a situation that would be even worse than the one that you're doing the violence for.
Yes.
So that kind of preconditioned mindset that I had that said that this violence was the rational thing to do in any moment because it would get me what I wanted or what I needed, but it always led me to those same places. You know, it never led me anywhere good.
The result would be the same.
That is accurate. But, you know, I had just done so much time in prison that I wanted something different, but I didn't know how to achieve it.
What made you think you were worth something different, Nicky? With all that you had been through, the trauma you had witnessed, I've got to assume it was a heart full of hatred, that you certainly hadn't had a lot of love lived in your presence and before you. What made you think, where did you get the inspiration from that you were worth stepping up, stepping out, and becoming the you were created to be?
So initially, that me wanting to have something different, it was all based off selfishness. It was based off pride. It was just me not wanting to be locked up. I knew that then I wasn't worth that. I didn't believe that I was worth that. But being selfish and being borderline sociopathic, I wanted something different. I wanted to be able to get away with the bad stuff that my heart desired. And so I tried to do that on my own strength, but I had no life management skills, and it wasn't until I actually had a moment of it's difficult to explain in words, Randy, this moment that led me to actually realizing that I was worth more than what I was giving myself credit. And it was in the moment that
Just an illumination of the heart.
yes,
Sounds like.
I had completely lost my mind, and all of the things that I was experiencing let me know that all of the things that I was told about heaven and hell were all real. So what I did was I postured my heart to call out to the Creator, and when I did, there was a response, and I didn't feel physically different when I came out from underneath that bridge that I was under when I called on Him. But I knew that something old had ended, and I knew that something new had just began. And I didn't know how to describe it, but I was filled with something that I had never been filled before, and that was hope. And not just hope for my situation, but hope for my life as a whole.
How old were you at that time, Nicky?
40 years old.
40 years old. You
Yes,
had
sir.
lived in that darkness and that pain and that
40 years in the
struggle.
wilderness. Yes, sir.
Yeah, you're 40 years in the wilderness. I like that that parallel there. What was your first recognizable, by choice, step forward toward recovery? And when I say recovery, I'm not talking abstinence of drugs or alcohol. I'm talking about, how did you first step forward toward a positive lifestyle?
Discipline, and not discipline implemented within my own self, because I didn't have that discipline, but the Father placing people in my life that cared enough about me to not allow me to get away with the things that I kept reverting to.
Accountability.
Yes, they would not let me. And to be honest, man, I got to give a shout out to my probation officer.
Do.
You know, Jason Fry at Wabash County, man. This dude would not give up. I mean, he was holding me accountable, and I was really good at manipulating. So when I would try to manipulate, he would just know those angles and he would just call it out, and he would, he would get me to say those things myself openly, to where I was taking accountability and saying them out loud. Like, this is something that I've done. I shouldn't do this. This is why. And this is a better way to approach this thing.
I'm going to guess he was going well beyond his
pay rate.
Yes, his pay rate, his job description, okay?
Yeah.
That obviously he didn't try to lot anything over you other than a heart that says, I care. And he saw something in you long before you saw it in yourself, sounds like to me. I often say that our organization, A Better Life, Brianna's Hope, we like to see the possibilities above the problem. And obviously he could do that with you. Go ahead and share more of that journey with us.
So I got out in 2015, like I said, trying to do it on my own strength. And
that's just 10 years ago.
Yeah, completely failed. I got addicted to pills. I had never been addicted to real heavy drugs my whole life, but I ended up getting on pills. Pills led into heavier things, heroin, methamphetamine, IV drug use, and it got so bad. It got to the point to where, I was that guy that people were worried that I would be, gone in the bathroom in the gas station, afraid to go open the door because they thought that, there'd be a dead guy in there. I was grimy. I would use mud puddle water to get my shot if I had to. Like, it was that bad. So to just be in a place now to even have some consistency of freedom in my life, it absolutely blows my mind, let alone to be successful in ministry, to have a wife, to have my family, to have all of those things that I had abandoned. My kids, I had never worked, I burnt every bridge that I had ever had. So to have all of those things that I thought were completely destroyed be restored, and then to have that set back in front of me like, hey, I'm going to give you another chance at this, that's a ball you don't want to fumble right there.
I can't imagine from having what you had, which was basically nothing, to losing that, to going into connection with a Christ who restores all of that multiple times. And I think that's what I hear you saying.
Absolutely.
That you've been given so much more than you ever dreamed of receiving, and that you're reveling in that and praising Him with it and for it. So how did that lead you to your ministries of today? Where does the music fit in here, and why the genre of Christian hip-hop? I always like to ask that because it's, that doesn't seem to be the dream of everybody.
Right.
And, hooray for that. But go ahead.
Sure. So I'd always been able to rap. That had always been a talent of mine. I had always wanted to cultivate that craft to get to a point of being able to share it with the world and have the world say, man, that's a beautiful talent that you have. But just like most everybody else who stepped into that lane at a young age, they used that gift to kind of glorify self, to
Yes.
kind of talk about things that they thought others wanted to hear about instead of being genuine and talking about things that were really on their hearts. I was guilty of that, and I did those things. And although the talent was there and the gifting was there, the Father didn't want those doors to be open for me at those times, and I'm grateful for that, because when it did get to a point to where I'd given my life completely, I heard openly like, hey, give me that gift. that gift that you used for so long to like lift up yourself and boast in self and brag on all these things that you knew were bad.
Nicky, when was that? How long ago was it that you made that commitment, that you opened your heart to whatever he had for you, and you found out he was wanting your gifts? So how long ago was that?
That was in 2020.
So just 5 years ago, and here you are today?
Yes, sir. And it was
Dude.
actually when I got out of prison. I just got out of prison in 2020.
Wow, wow. We're going to talk about that in a minute, but one of our listeners has a question for us.
Awesome.
Eric, would you share that?
Yeah. This is from Will Deeds. He said, you said discipline is what helped you. Do you have suggestions for accountability that he can implement? He is opening up a halfway house for men in recovery, and he wants to process new ways of trying to discover how to work with them.
Absolutely.
Great question.
So, yes, awesome question. So, in my experience, opening those places, that is your primary thing to focus on is staffing. You want the people that you have in those places to actually have experience. So the discipline thing, the accountability thing, to me, it's having those types of people around you that you know are telling you things based off of a concern for your well-being, your walk, and your success. And keeping those people around you is gonna do one of two things. It's gonna do both of them, but the one thing you're gonna be grateful for, it's gonna aggravate you because they are going to call you out if you're out of pocket. But that is the reason that you want them there. So keeping people around you that will not gas you up, but will check you in a moment where you need to be checked is of the utmost importance. It's of the utmost importance, and that's because of the success that will come from it.
I love that answer, and on the spot. That's a great thing to know. We don't grow when we choose yes people to be a part of our growth or our organization. We need those who will say, "No, I don't think that's best. Here's an option. Let's give this a try." And we talk it over and we go. And as much as I hate to admit it, they're usually right. I wasn't okay. And I've seen the success that can bring. So, Will, thank you for that question.
Great question, Will.
Now, let's get back to these last 5 years of your life since that time where, Christ has called you to use your gifts for him. What's that look like? Give us a little picture of that.
It is absolutely amazing. I mean, mind-blowing. For a living, I get to share my experience that I've had with the Creator. I get to share his love. I get to share the love of the Messiah. I get to share his story. I get to share how his story affected my life. And I get to become someone who others can look at and say, man, if that dude that got scraped off the bottom of the barrel can be put there and cleaned up and polished and given another opportunity and be used by the Father, then I can be used by the Father.
We're back to that word you hit hard a little bit ago. You've got hope.
Yes.
And we all do. We just need somebody to show us that hope at times and to let us know.
To be able to
is
do it
for
with
you.
music is that's what's mind-blowing to me. It's just amazing.
If you weren't doing this genre of music, what do you think it would be? Yeah. Do you have an answer? And I know it'd
Probably
be
country.
Country.
Yeah,
all
or
right.
maybe some southern rock.
Do you have a piece or two of that in your music? Do you
I
work
do,
that
yes,
in?
sir. Yes, I do. There's a little bit of singing, a little bit of rock in one of the songs that I just released recently called Not Here Anymore. It's a little kind of rock and roll singing riff.
Okay.
And I have a country song written, but it's not It's not.
We're not ready for
it's
it
not
yet.
done yet,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. All right.
Still got
hey,
some practicing
we've
to
got
do.
another question. We're
Sure.
starting to roll now. Eric,
Awesome.
give it to us.
Yeah. What gave you the motivation to keep pushing and fighting the good fight?
The Father. It was all Him. To be honest, I wanted to give up so many times, man. Bro, sis, whoever asked the question, I wanted to give up. The strength all came from Him. If it would have been me, I would have been beaten down and done and tapped out, gave up a long time ago. So that strength was Him. It is literally supernatural strength. That's exactly what it is. There's no other option. That's what it's got to be. For me to still be here in this position after everything, it's Him.
You can't do it on your own, or
No.
you would have, yeah?
Absolutely.
But it took God to show you the way through Christ, and now you're following it, and you're living it, and able to praise through it and to offer that hope to others. I am going to guess, even amidst the roses of all of this, those beautiful sunsets and everything new that you recognize, there's also got to be some challenges.
Sure.
What do those challenges look like? What are some of those things? Nicky, I know you don't want to hear this next statement I'm going to make, but you're looked at as a celebrity because of your position in your market.
Sure.
You know, as a Christian hip hop singer, you're looked at as someone high on the list. We're not going to head into that.
Sure.
We understand what that can do to you either way, but it gives you responsibilities, and people look at you with a fine-tooth comb, and they consider things from your past. And I'm sure, as much as it may not be comfortable, there's some still waiting on you to fall. But
Oh, yeah.
before I give you the chance to answer that, dude,
Sure.
we got another question. Let's go
Awesome.
with
Let's
that
get it.
question. Hit us, Eric.
Yeah, this is from Jennifer. She says she struggles daily with understanding, and your music helps tremendously. How do you know when the Lord is talking?
Thanks, Jennifer. I like that personal touch on that question.
When I know that it wasn't for me, if that makes any sense. So
Total sense. That's why I'm chuckling.
So when I am thinking and I'm meditating, there is like I'm present there, and the things that I'm thinking are present there, but now there's something they're governing it all. And that thing that is there governing it all also speaks. But many times it's not amidst the chatter of my own rambling in my mind. So when I hear that still kind of calm, commanding, that it
That still
demands
small voice.
I know that that's not me, and I kind of close down the chatter and I try to absorb everything that I hear from that space into my heart. And then however I can form it into words, whether it be in song form or whether it be in terms of a prayer He's placed on my heart for another individual, I just give it my best shot to dress it the way that He would have me dress it.
I like that. You know it's God because you can recognize the difference in your own leading and His spiritual leading and touch upon your heart. It's like a lightning bolt of inspiration that comes on a clear sky out of a clear day, and boom,
It's amazing.
He gets your heart, He gets your attention. That's awesome. Let's go back to the question. What are some of the challenges you deal with in your position, in your experience?
So dealing with people, social media, kind of preconceived ideas about, excuse me, my circumstances, what I might look like, you know, just people pick you apart. And
You're on that pedestal that
Yes.
they want to put you on, not that you asked to get on.
Sure, and it's
and so-
you know, if I get on, like, say, some things that are still difficult to deal with, I guess, for example, is if I get on a live on Facebook and I don't have my hair combed real good, or I just woke up, I haven't shaved, or, you know, I got some puffiness from the bags under my eyes or something, there'll be 2 or 3 people that, you know, they'll say, "Oh, you look sick. Are you back on drugs?" or something like that. And then, you know, I also was on a psych med that the side effect was I just got hugely, hugely big. I could not stop eating. And when I got off that particular psych med, I went back down to my regular weight. And when I lost all the weight, so many people were just like, "Oh, you got to be on meth or you're on drugs again." So I guess that kind of thing, if I wasn't earlier on in my walk and my recovery, that could have possibly been something that would have made me stumble. And it's still something that's kind of aggravating, but I can get over it nowadays.
Okay. Hey, we've got another question here. Let's give it
Awesome.
a shot.
Let's get it.
Makes fun. Thanks, folks. Go ahead, Eric.
Yeah, it's from Nick Summers. Did you discover the Holy Spirit while you were in prison? He said he absolutely loves your song, The Road.
So, the Ruach HaKodesh is something that I experienced it immediately because I knew that there was something else leading me into these character qualities. I knew that it wasn't me, so I was adoring of this new presence that was kind of ushering me into these right ways of living. And that was very early on in my walk. Although I struggled against it early in my walk, that's when I experienced, was very early, and it was just a directing kind of thing into character qualities that I didn't think were capable of attaining for somebody like me.
I have a follow-up question, too. This is from Holly. How do you deal with grief?
That's a timely question. Yes, Nicky?
Very carefully, sis. You know, grief can be a window for the enemy to try to climb in. You know, grief can also be a good thing for us. It can be something that the Father uses to strengthen us, mold us, shape us, build us, grow us. All things are to be done in relation to pleasing the Father, whether it be us mourning the loss of a loved one, or, you know, just grieving some bad situation. Not overdoing it, knowing who's ultimately in control and doing it in a healthy way, I believe is of utmost importance, because, you know, that grief can take us to dark places a lot of times. And it can make us want to just, you know, let go sometimes and just implement reckless abandon and think there's no hope. If there's no hope here, there's no hope for me. And grief can sometimes pull us into those places. So dealing with grief in a healthy way is very important.
And unfortunately, or fortunately, perhaps, you know, Christ speaks of that potter's wheel and that clay that gets misshapen, and it's got to be rebroken and melted down and used again. But grief can lead us through the darkness, and grief can become the darkness. And it's part of life. It's unavoidable. If you care about people, if you care about anybody other than yourself, grief's unavoidable.
Absolutely.
If you're the kind of person who loves easy, get ready to,
Experience
face
suffering.
the hurt. Absolutely. So, wow, another question here.
Let's
Okay,
get it.
hit us with it, Eric.
Yeah, this is from the legendary Sean Harris.
Sean.
Did you find it essential to draw from your own walk with Christ to create authentic lyrics? Sean loves the song Sinner Saved.
Yes. So that's one thing I've always been real stickler about, is being genuine in the music. I don't want to paint myself as being something that I'm not. I think a lot of times leaders step into positions, especially in CHH, and they feel like they have to be that perfect mold, so they present themselves as that perfect mold, and then when people find out that they're not, it makes their fall that much harder.
Well-
So my music being genuine, it alludes to the struggle that even your favorite CHH artist, maybe even your favorite pastor, might go through. Is important to talk about. It's important for us to be vulnerable with each other as brothers and sisters and saying, hey, I'm not perfect. These are my flaws. Hopefully you'll help restore me instead of beating me over the head with those sins that I already know that I have.
Absolutely. No, you're exactly right. I just want to go one more step. You talked about CHH. For those of you who maybe just joined us or don't understand or haven't had the opportunity to get to know Nicky, we're talking Christian hip hop with that, okay? And just want to get that across to you. It's something that's become, I still, Nicky, I'll admit this to you and here on our podcast, I still don't get it. I understand the message, and I think that's what I love about it. More so for me, it's been the artists I've come to know. You guys have such a camaraderie, the gals as well, but you have such a camaraderie, such a support. The way you team up, the way that, I need somebody at this concert or whoever's running that concert needs another performer.
It's definitely
you make a
different.
call to a brother and say, hey,
And they're gonna
can you
pop out.
And it's crazy. Jay Truth out of Mississippi, who
He'll
I
pop
am,
right out
oh
on
my
you. That's
goodness.
my brother right there.
Oh, I love that guy. And I adore the way he can say in one word, hi, I'm Jay Truth, Mississippi.
Yeah, and you can hear it. You can tell.
Oh.
Like, you didn't have to tell me where you was from. Like, I could hear it.
Yeah, it's incredible. So we're good with that. Listen, we've only got about 10 more minutes here. What would you like to share as we start to wind down? We've got a song. We're going to play a part of that in just a few moments. And tell them how they can get to your music.
Sure.
How they can get involved, how they can be in contact. Tell our
So,
fans listening out there.
We got a lot going on right now. I got my primary website, which is where you could probably see everything that we have going on. That's NickyGraciousMusic.com. And we've teamed up with Redeemed and J Truth. Recently, we're getting ready to do a Blood Brothers tour. That's going to be in November of 2025 this year.
Blood Brothers, I love that title. Yeah.
And you'll be able to go to NickyGraciousMusic.com. You'll be able to book there for the tour if you want us to come out to your city. You'll be able to go there if you want to check out the merch. You can check out the merch on NickyGraciousMusic.com, GraciousGear.com. You can check out the music on YouTube, Nicky Gracious Music Channel, or Spotify, iTunes, all that good stuff. And hopefully you guys will love this new stuff that we're doing and that you'll get edified by it.
That's awesome. And,
This I Praise the song, isn't it?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Why
and-
did we ask Nicky to choose a song that we could close with today? We're not going to do the whole song. We're going to do a segment of it. But why is this the song you chose, Nicky?
Well, I chose this song primarily because of how it has affected my audience. It has been a song that has brought a lot of light, a lot of hope to them, and I get more messages reaching out to me, telling me things, amazing things associated with this song. And it's just done amazing things in my life as well. It's been a huge blessing in my life, and I love it. I wrote it when I was sitting in prison, sitting in a tiny little cell, 23-hour-a-day lockdown, and felt freer than I had ever felt in my entire life. So this song, anytime I can have somebody's ears just hear it, that's what I want to do. So
That's what Jesus does. Sets you free in your cell, doesn't take you out of it, but you have that freedom that you know that you have.
come on.
And that's incredible stuff. And it's
amazing.
awesome that can happen, not just for you, but for others as well. So let's go ahead. We're going to close with this song. Before we do, Nicky, thank you. We'll keep you in prayer for your travels.
Thank you so
and
much.
folks,
If we can I say something real quick?
absolutely.
If y'all can, y'all, let's remember Brother Joe Nestor and his family in this time. Let's keep Sister Faith and Hunter and Layla and Kylie lifted up in prayer, y'all. I appreciate that, man.
That's where I was going to head with my next statement, but I'm glad you said it, okay? Because I
sir.
knew you had an extreme closeness with Joe. So keep that family and others in prayer that it's touched. Here we go with our song. God bless you, folks. Stay in the battle. It's
Stay
worth
in the
it.
fight.
You
Well worth
bet. Amen. Thank you, Nicky.
It's an honor, brother.
This I pray.
First off, Lord, thank you for my life. I thank you for my sin that you put out of your sight. Never thought that could happen, Father God. I'm so ashamed. Memories of what I did always rushing through my brain. It's hard to wrap my mind around how you could just forgive. Can't comprehend the fact that you would even let me live. You know all of the secrets I keep hidden in the dark. All them evil desires that keep on lurking in my heart. Lord, take it from me, cause I hate it that I'm ugly. It's hard to talk to people, cause I know that they would judge me. They probably say I need to be locked up inside a cell. He's sick inside his head and he ain't never gonna get well. They say that I should die and that would probably be the truth. He ain't fit for society, his confession is the proof. So I keep it to myself.